I am pleased to announce that the inquiry is now in a position to publish open summaries, known as gists, of evidence of witnesses heard in closed hearings during the Concerns and Complaints Part 1 phase of the inquiry, together with open, redacted versions of their witness statements and exhibits. The inquiry heard from 7 UK Special Forces witnesses in closed hearings, in private, with only the inquiry team and state core participants present. These 7 UK Special Forces witnesses, who were given ciphers, gave evidence regarding the concerns they raised at the time in 2011 and subsequently regarding the conduct and activities of UK Special Forces during deliberate detention operations in Afghanistan. Each of these witnesses was required to give evidence to the inquiry. As you may recall, some of this evidence was set out by Oliver Glasgow, KC, in his opening statement. Their evidence was heard in closed hearings for reasons of national security, including the need to ensure the safety and anonymity of the witnesses. Closed hearings also had distinct practical advantages, in particular assisting witnesses to give their best evidence. At the hearings, I was able to reassure witnesses that they were giving evidence in an entirely secure environment. This enabled them to speak freely, using real names and explaining operational matters where relevant. Counsel to the inquiry were also able to ask searching questions and explore their witnesses' accounts in full. This is a public inquiry. It is necessary and important to make evidence available to the public where this can be done without undermining national security or the anonymity of witnesses. Hence, as I made clear in my ruling of the 30th of January 2024, the inquiry would publish open versions of closed witness statements and exhibits with necessary redactions, as well as gists of oral evidence given in any closed hearings. The process of redacting and gisting this material has been rigorous and thorough. Careful account has been taken of all concerns raised by the Ministry of Defence and the witnesses themselves relating to either national security or identification. I'm grateful to them, the inquiry team, and all those involved for the completion of this important work. My restriction order granted anonymity to all of the witnesses who gave evidence. It prevents publication of their identities or any information that might lead to their names becoming known. For the avoidance of doubt, where documents published by the inquiry have been redacted and a gist or cipher placed over any entry, the restriction order prevents the publication or dissemination of the underlying information. And as set out in the restriction order, the High Court and Court of Session have the power to imprison or fine anyone for any breach of the order. This is the first time that the inquiry has published significant gists of evidence heard in closed hearings. I understand that publishing evidence about UK Special Forces will be uncomfortable for some. However, everyone can be assured that a great deal of work by many people has gone into ensuring that it is safe to publish this material. In particular, the gists were considered with the Ministry of Defence and the witnesses themselves, and every issue relating to national security or identification carefully considered. My terms of reference require me to investigate and report on extremely serious allegations. First, whether extrajudicial killings were carried out in Afghanistan by British Special Forces between mid-2010 and mid-2013. Second, whether these were covered up. And third, whether the investigation carried out by the Royal Military Police was fit for purpose. As I've said, it is vital that these allegations are examined thoroughly and the true facts established. The inquiry shall be hearing from many more witnesses, and further carefully gisted evidence will be published in due course. I trust that all witnesses will have the open and full support from those in leadership within Special Forces and the Ministry of Defence. I'm grateful to those who've come forward to give evidence. I would encourage anyone who may require welfare support to seek that support. There are services provided by the MOD listed on their website, or accessible through regimental associations, or by the organisations listed on the inquiry website. The call for information remains in place. I would encourage anyone, military or civil servant, serving or retired, who may have evidence or information, however small, which they think may be relevant to the inquiry's terms of reference, to contact the inquiry team directly using one of the secure methods set out on the inquiry website. Turning to next steps, the inquiry will be conducting open hearings shortly to hear evidence from a police expert witness about the Royal Military Police's investigation Operation Northmoor. This expert has written a report on his investigation, which will be published on the inquiry website in due course. Thank you.